morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel L. Connon. Welcome to Premarket Info.
Crazy day for the markets yesterday. A huge sell-off. We're going to analyze the aftermath, tell you where we think this market's heading. Fed approves JP Morgan's stock buyback. They suspended it back there with the whole whale trade. They are going to resume their buyback. That is giving JP Morgan and the rest of the financials a good lift today. We have earnings from Prudential, PANL, Kohl's, Macy's, QCOM, and CBS. And Apple continued the sell-off yesterday, lost another 20 points. Where is the bottom? Joel, what's your take?
Well, we cut through that support in the 1390s yesterday, got down to 1384. Looking at that, it's going to be major support. If we can hold that level, we could go back up and test the $1,400 level. Just looking at some of these stocks, though, I mean, there was some major technical damage inflicted on several key components of the Big Ten.
Oh, wasn't there, though? And starting with the big one, Apple, wow, it had a horrible day yesterday, basically taking out all the support, making new 4-month lows here, actually 5-month lows, trading down, obviously, to the 555 handle. 550 is a huge number for this, but, man, Joel, where is the stock going?
Well, in the pre-market, we've made a low. We've bumped around at 559. Had a real weak close. For someone came in and sold a lot in the close. At 558 close is a little bit over with. I'll be looking at the parameters. 559 has been the low in the pre-market. We've made a high of 563.69. We're trading a buck away from that. Really need to get above 563 and hold 563 to get a rally. And just like the way we came down yesterday through that 560 handle, there's no resistance going back up to 570. Below your 555.75 level, looking at the June 4th low of 548.50. But you just gotta wait for this thing to make a double bottom or triple bottom or something, really, before you can really try and make the call.
Yeah, it's a hard one to call. You're right. If you go back into April there, or actually it was May when the stock bottomed at 522, it's a long ways away from here. And then in May 25th, it had 534. I can remember that 530 area, and we were saying how big and critical that was. We're now 30 points away from there. I do wonder if we were to wash out, if we can start to get down to that area or not, but I don't think we're going to get it on this move. I think eventually you're going to see this washout day, and I think it's coming in the next day or two, where, everybody, maybe yesterday was the washout day, it was 20 points down, 555 was the bottom. My buddy Chris, the Apple analyst that I always talk about, was saying, wait for 550, he thinks it's going to see 550, but so hard to say. Obviously the chart, as much as it was in favor 2 months ago, it's out of favor now, which makes me think that a bottom is getting close in Apple.
And if you look at the daily, I mean, that could just be a gigantic head and shoulders there.
Oh, that's the funny thing. I've got it drawn on here too from back in the day, like from August, September, October. Yeah, the whole left shoulder here, the head up there at the 700, 705 area, then it formed the next shoulder, came down, broke the neckline, actually went and retested it. This was pure technical trading all the way, and then just been straight down with the trend ever since. And the trend is not looking good on this one. But eventually, the valuation, there's still value here. There's still a lot of people that do want to own the stock. A lot of people do own it, is the problem. But as short-term participants are dumping their positions, and that gets sold to longer-term guys, Apple will eventually make a bottom.
Yeah, one other thing. If you take the 652.79 high on October 17th,
Yep.
You can almost get a really steep, trend line coming down there. So eventually, when it's going to pop back above that, that's when you'll probably get your short cover and rally. Another stock that got some major technical damage also was ExxonMobil.
ExxonMobil finally broke down through that 90 area that we had been talking about. It held for the last 2 weeks. We talked about if it breaks down through that area, it was going to get ugly. It didn't disappoint, got very ugly, took out 90 with a vengeance, actually traded down through the 89 handle, through the 88 handle, made a low at 87.72 before it started to bounce, but the chart's broken on this one too.
Yep, it actually got all the way down to fill a gap that it had bad since September. Look at it, goes from 87 and change up to 93. It takes over a month, and in 2 days you come back down from
Boom,
92
boom.
to up to 88. Just you got to start using that 80 yesterday's low is good support here. Probably buyers will be jumping ahead of that at the $88 level, but 88.70 is a number you got to keep an eye on the downside.
Scared though. I think as this thing rallies, and it is rallying in the pre-market with the overall market this morning, trading at 88.67 on light volume. I think you start getting to the 89s. I think you find sellers. I think a lot of people accumulated positions in the 90s, and they are nervous now. If this thing gets anywhere back into that area, those people will be looking to sell. And this is a story in so many stocks, Joel, like you were saying. Basically, you've had accumulation here for the last couple of months, and now a broken chart pattern. So those people are looking to get out, which makes me think that there might be more pain in store for the market. AT&T, wow, what happened yesterday?
Well, I guess they want to take back announcing they're increasing their dividend.
Oh,
That did not go. It opened lower and went lower. Got very close to that magic 33 level the day that it hit on earnings. Got to 33.28. Got a little bit of a bounce, but boy, if that 33 doesn't hold, the stock is going to be in big trouble.
but the stock is bouncing here nicely this morning. You're getting a bounce in a lot of stocks. This is the bounce where I look, when I start to lick my chops. Maybe this is the bounce to get the hell out. 34.10 it just ticked up to, so it's up 50 cents here in the pre-market. A lot of stocks trading higher, even your financials. Let's just go into the financials for a bit
Okay.
here. JP Morgan did get approval from the Fed for their stock buyback. They had announced the buyback before, suspended it during the whale trade. Now they're going to resume the buyback. That is giving the stock a lift. It actually traded up to 41.60 on that news. Now down at 41.07, so it's already given back half of the gains from this announcement just a half an hour ago. Looking at the chart, though, again, this chart looks broken. It's the same story in all these stocks. When you have broken charts, a lot of people looking at the same thing. That means a lot of people are looking to probably get out of their positions into rallies.
Yeah, 40.31 was yesterday's low. We're trading smartly above that. That 41.60 was just a quick tick there. We pulled back. Since making that 41.60 high, we've made a low at 41.02. So you could call that minor support here. But if this thing goes into reverse, you do have the 40.31 low. And then you also have the low at 40.21 on September 22nd. Or excuse me, or 27th. So this 40-20, 40-30 area, huge for JP Morgan. If not, you start to get into that vacuum area between 38 and 40.
Yeah, Goldman Sachs sold off enormously yesterday. At one point in time, I think it was down $8. Actually, did it end up closing down $8? It did. It actually closed
Yep.
right near the lows. I didn't even realize. A really terrible day for Goldman Sachs too. Here, closing near the lows. It did close near an old support. On
Oh,
October
yeah.
23rd, we had a low of 118.12. You go back into the days October 26th and 5th. It was in the 118s. It bottomed right around that area, 117.97 low. Call that whole area 118. That's critical for the stock to hold. I would not want to see this start falling below 118.
Yeah, if it does fall to 118, you really don't have support until 116.22. That's a nice formation in Goldman. I've seen that before, and see if it can hold up over the next couple days. Coming back on the upside, looking at the pre-market high. It's got a little bit of a bounce, not on much volume. 119.50 is as high as trading in the pre-market, and I'm sure the sellers in this start lining up at the whole and half numbers, trying to wiggle out after that big drop yesterday.
That's just it. A lot of potential market participants are going to be trying to wiggle out of their positions or to initiate shorts here, which makes me think that, again, I'm going to reiterate the theme that rallies are probably more meant to be sold now as opposed to dips being bought. I'm always, when I trade, I'm usually buying dips or selling rallies. And in this case, from my own trading perspective, I'm probably a seller of rallies. I think the market, my bullish tone is definitely broken here today, as
Oh
you can tell.
no!
I've been
Warning,
bullish for
warning,
months.
warning.
Yeah, so maybe that's the bottom. I've been bullish for months here, and obviously with the huge sell-off we had yesterday and taking out the key support on the S&P, I am starting to get a little bit on the bearish side. But I do believe I wouldn't want to sell it. When you're sold off 3,300 points yesterday, you do want to look for bounces as potential opportunities for selling. We have lots of earnings here today, Joel. Qualcomm reported they are up nicely here, 89 cents against estimates of 82. The stock's up 7.5% this morning at 62.5. So nice lift here for Qualcomm.
Yeah, on that initial spike in the pre-market, it got to 63.23. But since that made that high, someone seems to have a big sell order here at 63. So let's keep an eye on 63, 63.23, pre-market high. You've had a lot of consolidation around the 62.50 level. I think if this thing cut below 62, I'd look for it to go back into trade into yesterday's range. Looking at the highs in this stock, you haven't been up to the $62 level from quite some time here. So I expect sellers. I don't see it getting anywhere near this 63.75 high that it had on October 5th.
CBS reported earnings here too. They beat by 4 cents, 65 cents against estimates of 61. Stock rallying okay here at the pre-market. We're up 50 cents, 34.51, but on very light volume.
Yeah.
The high from 2 days ago was 34.51. But if you start getting above there, you've got a double top up in the 34.84, 34.86 area. Above there, it opens right up.
Yep, did good job there on the analysis. You did break through a double top, 34.42, 34.51 from the last 2 days. So it's critical that CBS holds that level. If not, it looks like we'll drop down and perhaps test the close at 34. Then you got another double top, as you mentioned here, at the 34.84 level. Probably a few sellers kicking around at 35, but not a lot of volume associated with this move.
Prudential announced earnings last night. They missed $1.53 against estimates of $1.67. They did boost their dividend, so not all bad news. They bumped it up to $1.60 from $1.45, maybe trying to control the damage here by announcing something good with their big miss, but it's not controlling the damage that much. Trading at 54.01 right now after closing at 55.39. So Prudential, after having a bad day yesterday, looks like it's going to have another bad day here today.
Yep, 54.01 pre-market trading, not much volume associated with it. Look at all these lows, though, that you have here around the $54 area. 53.94 was the low on October 3rd. So, man, and then you go back even in August, you had some lows below that. So, I don't know, you gotta 54 needs to hold for this to go back. If not, Prudential could be in some trouble.
Big loser stock of the day is PANL. Stock trading down after announcing earnings. Names Universal Display Corporation. Not a huge company, but it is down 25% here, trading at $20 on big volume of 103,000 shares. That's big volume for this stock. Closed at 28.18. So they missed. They actually announced a loss of 12 cents. Analysts were expecting a small gain of 2 cents. Their revenue was light. They lowered full-year guidance. They said nothing basically good here, and they are punishing the stock.
You do have a 1866 low when the news came out, and then since you've hit that panic low, you're kind of getting a rounding bottom here. Buyers have stepped up to the plate above that level at 1980 to 20. So I'd keep an eye on that level as support. I don't think we're going to quite see that pre-market low, and then coming back on the upside if this thing goes into a rally mode. Just have your offers out there. Who knows where this thing's going to stop?
Yeah, real hard to predict these ones when they're moving that much. Expect a vacuum. The thing's going to bounce around a couple points today.
And you want to know something interesting? Here's a stock that trades 700, 800,000, 900,000 a day, and all of a sudden yesterday it trades $3 million.
Yeah. Well, did have the sell-off with the overall market, but I mean the stock fell $3.50 yesterday, so it was way over the overall market. So you wonder who was tipped off on a little bit of
Yep.
this too. I know what you were getting at on that. Kohl's KSS, they reported earnings. It is same-store sales Thursday too, so some of these other retailers are reporting same-store sales as well. But Kohl's reported actual earnings 91 cents against estimates of 88, but they did lower Q4 guidance. That's got the stock a bit under pressure here, trading down a buck at 53.40.
It actually was trading lower than that. It traded down to 52.60 in the pre-market, getting a little bit of a bounce. Let's keep an eye on the 52.51 low that you had on October 31st. That will be major support. Kind of coincides with what we hit in the pre-market at 52.60. Coming back on the upside. I'm sure if you get near yesterday's low, 53.95 to 54 should be major resistance.
Macy's is another one that reported earnings. Stock trading just down. Actually, it hasn't even made a trade here yet, but they did report 36 cents against estimates of 30. Not a lot of action in the stock here, though. But again, remember same-store sales as well. Obviously, I had drawn this trend back in the day, but the stock's trading 40.45 here. Joel, what do you think? If Macy's really starts to break down, you had that huge move up just last week from 38 to 40. I'd hate to see it start getting in that vacuum area.
Yeah, if it breaks below 40.29, that was the low from 3 days ago. You might have a few buyers kicking around at 40, but that whole area from 39 to 40 does not look very favorable if we break below 40. Coming back on the upside, you did hit that 41.98 high yesterday. Don't think we're going to get anywhere near that today.
A couple other ones just wanted to talk about here. McDonald's just reported same-store sales. It's trading down here, but the level is interesting. It's trading at 86.22, just above this $86 level. We have talked on for the last basically 6 months on this $86 level at McDonald's. Every time it gets down here, it bounces. 86.15 was the low on August the 8th. I'm going to take you out back further than that as well. Looking back here, we had lows also. If you go back to trying to find them here, Joel. Going back into June, you had some lows in the 86 area as well. So I'm going to call 86 enormous support. Obviously, even a few days ago, or actually 4 or 5 days ago, bombed 86.37 and the 86.20 area there. So $86 is critical for the stock to hold.
Yeah, I mean, it's been holding up for several months here. It did get to 86.06 in the pre-market, so keep an eye on that. I mean, if it thing can't hold 86, it's going to be in a world of trouble here. Oh, Mickey D's could be trading down 83.74. Not today, obviously. It was a low that we had back in October of last year.
Well, overall thoughts here on the market as we close the show. We obviously had the huge sell-off yesterday. I guess the market not loving the comments from Draghi, but I don't think they were loving Obama either, it doesn't look like. And the market really got beat up. Did take out that critical support area in the 1390 that we had talked about. Got back up, nipped 1400. Now it's trading just 1392, just below 1400. Is this sell-off going to continue, or is the bottom there in place?
You would think with the size of the sell-off yesterday, if there was going to be a good bounce, it would be up more than 3.5 points. But listen, use the parameters. Use that 1395.50. That's been the Globex high so far. If we can break above that, I really don't see resistance up to the $1,400 level. Coming back on the downside, you're going to have support at the close, 1389, down to the Globex low at 1387.25. But this thing's going to need to get out of the box quickly here and get back up to 1400, or I do think we'll test that 1384 low today.
That's our show for today, folks. Have a great trading day. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news with my outlook here, but definitely be cautious on the long side. Have a great trading day.